Hi guys! Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today, we will dive deep into the electrifying drama unfolding in Port Charles during the week of June 23rd to 27th, as teased in the latest explosive preview video dropped by the ABC soap. Prepare yourselves for an emotional roller coaster as tensions skyrocket between former partners Willow Tate and Michael Corinthos in a confrontation that could shatter their already fragile family dynamic. With shocking revelations, hidden agendas, and stakes higher than ever, this week promises to keep fans glued to their screens. Let's unpack the drama, explore new layers of intrigue, and speculate on the devastating consequences that could reshape lives in Port Charles forever. The preview clip crescendos with a heart-stopping showdown between Willow and Michael, set in the cozy yet tension-filled living room of the Quartermain Estate Gatehouse, a place steeped in family history and past betrayals. Michael, with a steely gaze, issues a chilling ultimatum to Willow: "If you go through with marrying Drew, I'll ensure you never lay eyes on our children again." This isn't just a warning, it's a declaration of war. Michael, having recently secured full guardianship of their children, Wiley and Amelia Corinthos, holds a powerful card. His words cut deep, especially considering the legal muscle behind him. But what brought them to this bitter clash in the very home that once symbolized their shared dreams? Was Willow's presence at the gatehouse a daring trespass born of desperation to see her kids, or did Michael, perhaps reluctantly, grant her entry after little Amelia's nightly cries for her mother? The ambiguity adds a layer of suspense, as viewers are left wondering whether this meeting was planned or a spontaneous eruption of pent-up emotions. Willow, however, is far from a stable frame of mind to navigate this minefield. Under the manipulative sway of Drew Kane, her judgment appears clouded, her decisions erratic. Could she have slipped into the Quartermain estate uninvited, driven by a mother's aching heart? Or did someone, perhaps a sympathetic family member like Monica Quartermain, quickly facilitate this risky reunion? During their heated exchange, it seems inevitable that Willow will drop the bombshell of her impending marriage to Drew. Will she flaunt an engagement ring, a gleaming symbol of her new allegiance, or will Michael's sharp eyes catch a subtle glint on her finger before she even speaks? The mere thought of this union sends shockwaves through Michael, not just as a father protecting his children, but as a man scorned, watching his past unravel before him. The notion of Willow and Drew tying the knot isn't just a personal slight to Michael, it's a calculated legal maneuver. Their plan to wed is rooted in a desire to present a united front, a picture-perfect family unit, against Michael's status as a lone father in the eyes of the court. This tactic eerily mirrors a strategy Michael and Willow once employed themselves to secure custody of Wiley when his biological mother, Willow's twin sister Nell Benson, waged her own vicious battle for control. Back then, their Fox marriage was a shield. Now, Willow's alliance with Drew feels more like a sword aimed at Michael's heart. But this scheme, while seemingly clever, is a house of cards built on shaky ground. Drew's reckless influence has already dragged Willow into this quagmire, and whispers among Port Charles insiders suggest that the judicial ruling in Michael's favor might not be as clean as it appears. Rumor has it that Judge Eva Heron's decision could have been tainted by external forces, possibly orchestrated by the shadowy Jen Sidwell, whose reach in the town's underbelly is both feared and mysterious. If true, this corruption could be the key to unraveling Michael's custody victory, or it might further entangle Willow in a web of deceit. The root of Michael's unrelenting stance lies in Willow's refusal to separate her romance with Drew from her role as a mother. Initially, Michael showed a willingness to find common ground, to co-parent with civility, provided Willow kept Drew's presence away from Wiley and Amelia. It was a clear boundary, and non-negotiable line in the sand, yet Willow's unwavering devotion to Drew, perhaps fueled by his charm or her own need for validation, pushed Michael to seek sole custody. Now, with legal power in his grasp, Michael isn't just fighting for his children's safety, he's fighting to preserve the family legacy he holds dear. But there's a storm brewing on the horizon. If word of Drew's clandestine affair with Nina Reeves surfaces, potentially through a vengeful Tracy Quartermain or another scorned player in this twisted game, Willow's wedding dreams could crumble before they even begin. Imagine the fallout if Willow, mid-wedding planning, discovers Drew's betrayal. Would she spiral further into despair? Or would it be the wake-up call she desperately needs to reclaim her life and her children? Michael, too, is at a crossroads. Should Willow defy his warning and push forward with the marriage, he holds the ultimate leverage with sole custody. He could, in theory, whisk Wiley and Amelia away on a private jet to a distant corner of the globe, leveraging the vast Corinthos and Quartermain wealth to start aim perhaps in a serene European village or a bustling international hub where Willow would struggle to find them. Picture Michael setting up a quaint family home in the rolling hills of Tuscany, teaching Wiley to tend to vineyards while Amelia learns Italian nursery rhymes. All while Willow is left in Port Charles, haunted by the emptiness of their absence. While such a drastic move seems unlikely given Michael's recent return to the heart of Port Charles, the mere possibility adds a thrilling edge to this saga. It's the kind of dramatic flourish that daytime television thrives in, a father's desperate act to shield his children from what he perceives as a toxic influence. Yet, ABC General Hospital spoilers hint that Michael might opt for a less theatrical, more insidious approach. Rather than fleeing with the children, he could tighten the screws by denying Willow any visitation rights in the interim. A move that might provoke Drew and Willow into a hasty marriage to expedite their legal appeal. Alternatively, Michael could play the long game, quietly undermining Drew's credibility or exposing his affair with Nina to devastate Willow's trust. Imagine Michael enlisting a private investigator to unearth irrefutable proof of Drew's indiscretions, presenting it to Willow not out of malice, but as a painful necessity to save her from further heartbreak. Or perhaps he collaborates with family allies like Jason Morgan, whose own history with Drew could provide invaluable insight into dismantling their rivals' schemes. The possibilities are endless, each more gripping than the last, as Michael wields both emotional and legal weapons in this battle for his family's future. As the week of June 23rd to 27th unfolds, the drama in Port Charles reaches fever pitch, with Willow and Michael's clash serving as the epicenter of a larger earthquake threatening to fracture relationships across the board. Will Willow's blind faith in Drew lead to her ultimate downfall, or will she awaken to the manipulation before it's too late? Can Michael balance his protective instincts with the risk of alienating his children's mother forever? And what of the unseen force like Jen Sidwell or even Nina herself lurking in the shadows, ready to exploit this chaos for their own gain? One thing is certain, every decision, every heated word, and every hidden secret will ripple through the Quartermain estate and beyond, leaving no one untouched. Next, we will explore a captivating theory swirling through the social media spheres of Port Charles, one that taps into the timeless soap opera trope of uncovering long-lost children. The writers of GH have a well-known penchant for weaving these dramatic family revelations into their narratives. And fans are buzzing with speculation that another hidden offspring storyline might be on the horizon. This time, the spotlight falls on Drew Cain, whose past as a Navy SEAL could harbor secrets of forgotten romances and unexpected legacies. Join us as we delve into the intriguing possibility of Drew having a long-lost son, the mysterious Kai Taylor, while adding fresh details, imaginative twists, and deeper insights into the unfolding drama that could reshape relationships in Port Charles. The rumor mill is churning with the tantalizing idea that Drew, known for his adventurous and often tumultuous history, might have fathered a child during his Navy SEAL days, a product of a fleeting, passionate encounter in some distant port. This girl in every port scenario isn't far-fetched for a man of Drew's rugged charm and globe-trotting past. After all, his late son, Oscar Nero, born from a committed relationship with Kim Nero, proved Drew's capacity for fatherhood, even if unexpected. But could there be another child out there, born from a night of stolen moments under foreign stars? Fans have noted striking parallels between Oscar and the newcomer Kai Taylor, especially since Oscar, who once shared a tender romance with Jocelyn Jacks, would have been roughly Kai's age today if he were still alive. This age alignment fuels speculation, as does the almost paternal warmth Drew exudes toward Kai. Observers can't help but wonder if Drew's mentorship hides a deeper and spoken bond of fatherly instinct rekindled after the tragic loss of Oscar. Meanwhile, eyebrows are raised over Drew's apparent neglect of his actual daughter, Emily Scout Quartermain, who seems to be sidelined as Drew pours his energy into Kai's life. Is this merely overcompensation for past grief, or something more profound rooted in blood ties? Kai Taylor's own story adds fuel to this speculative fire, as his life has been a whirlwind of upheaval and redemption, with Drew positioned as his unlikely hero. A devastating football injury ended Kai's dreams of a professional career, leaving him adrift in despair until Drew stepped in with a lifeline. Through a cutting-edge medical procedure funded by Drew's resources and determination, Kai's condition improved significantly, even if it didn't restore his ability to play. Picture the young man, once a star athlete, grappling with his lost identity in a sterile hospital room, only to have Drew sweep in with promises of a second chance, and not just through surgery, but through emotional support during endless rehab sessions. Kai's gratitude is palpable. He harbors no bitterness, instead viewing Drew as a beacon of hope who exhausted every option to help him heal. Now, Drew has extended yet another olive branch with a paid internship, a gesture that seems to transcend mere kindness. Could this opportunity hint at a subconscious need to keep Kai close, perhaps as a stand-in for Oscar? Or is it a sign of a latent familial connection waiting to be unearthed in some dusty naval record or faded love letter from Drew's past? The bond between Kai and Drew isn't one-sided, adding layers of intrigue to their dynamic. Despite the wariness of others in Port Charles, such as Trina Robinson, who casts a skeptical eye on Drew's intent, Sky looks up to the congressman with a reverence that borders on hero worship. Drew, in turn, appears almost fixated on molding Kai into a version of the man he believes Kai can become, guiding him with a fervor that feels personal. Imagine Drew late at night, poring over internship proposals, driven by an inexplicable urge to ensure Kai's success, while Kai, in quieter moments, feels an odd, magnetic pull toward Drew, as if drawn by an invisible thread of destiny. Social media is ablaze with fan theories suggesting that this connection could be biological, with Drew as Kai's long-lost father. The notion isn't baseless. After all, writers have yet to flesh out Kai's family history on screen, leaving a blank canvas for dramatic reveals. For Kai to cement his place in Port Charles' tapestry, a strong tie to a core character like Drew would provide narrative staying power, perhaps through a hidden paternity test or a chance encounter with a mysterious woman from Drew's naval days who holds the key to Kai's origins. Yet, not all viewers are eager to embrace another long-lost child arc, as this storyline has become a familiar, almost predictable staple in recent years on General Hospital. The recent unveiling of Giovanni Joe Palmieri as the grown son of Dante Falconeri and Brooklyn Quartermain serves as a prime example, prompting some fans to roll their eyes at the prospect of yet another surprise offspring for Drew. Port Charles has seen its fair share of dramatic family reunions. Think of the emotional roller coaster when other hidden children surfaced, like the revelation of Charlotte Cassadine's parentage. Critics argue that such plots risk becoming cliched, diluting the impact of genuine surprises. Moreover, Drew's plate is already overflowing with personal and political entanglements of the heart, custody battles, and ambitious schemes. Does he really need the added complexity of a son he never knew existed? Envision Drew, already stretched thin, receiving a late-night call from a stranger claiming to know about a child born during his SEAL missions in a remote coastal town. The shock could either deepen his resolve to connect with Kai or push him into denial, further complicating his already chaotic life. On the flip side, even if the father-son theory doesn't come to fruition, ABC General Hospital spoilers tease that Kai's role in Drew's orbit is far from over, promising ongoing ripples through Port Charles. Their relationship, whether platonic or potentially familial, will undoubtedly influence Drew's other connections, particularly with Trina Robinson, who remains wary of Drew's motives. Could Trina's instincts lead her to dig into Kai's background, perhaps stumbling upon a clue-worn photograph or a cryptic message that hints at a shared past with Drew? Or might her suspicions create tension with Kai, testing their friendship as she questions his blind trust in the congressman? There's also the lingering shadow of Drew's grief over Oscar, which could be the true driver of his attachment to Kai. Picture a poignant scene where Drew visits Oscar's grave, confiding in the silent headstone about how Kai's presence feels like a second chance to be the father he couldn't fully view, whether or not blood ties exist. This emotional depth could provide a satisfying alternative to a paternity twist, focusing instead on themes of healing and surrogate family bonds. As this storyline unfolds, other Port Charles residents might weigh in, adding new dimensions to the speculation. Perhaps Carly Spencer, with her keen intuition and history with Drew, senses something familiar in Kai's mannerisms, prompting her to probe into Drew's past missions for clues. Or imagine Scout, feeling neglected, acting out in subtle ways, drawing pictures of a new brother or asking pointed questions about why Daddy spends so much time with Kai. These interpersonal dynamics could elevate the drama, weaving Kai's mystery into the broader fabric of the Quartermain and Kane family sagas. What if a long-forgotten naval buddy of Drew's arrives in town, carrying tales of a brief romance that coincided with Kai's birth year? Such a character could serve as a catalyst, forcing Drew to confront memories he'd buried deep memories of a stormy night in a far-off port, where promises were made and quickly broken under the weight of duty. Next, we will delve into the heart-wrenching turmoil surrounding the deteriorating marriage of Curtis Ashford and Dr. Portia Robinson, union once thought unshakable in the bustling world of Port Charles. As secrets, lies, and external pressures mount, their relationship teeters on the edge of collapse, with Portia finding an unexpected confidant in Dr. Isaiah Gannon. With Curtis pushing her way and new threats looming large, Portia's world is unraveling, paving the way for emotional entanglements that could change everything. Join us as we explore this gripping storyline, infused with fresh details, imaginative twists, and the raw emotion that defines daytime drama at its finest. The fabric of Curtis and Portia's marriage is fraying under the weight of deception and unmet expectations, painting a somber picture of a love on the brink. Portia, despite her deep affection for Curtis, has repeatedly withheld the truth, weaving a web of half-truths and omissions that have eroded trust. Curtis, in response, has placed Portia on an impossibly high pedestal, expecting flawless honesty and perfection, only to react with cold detachment when she falters. Picture late-night arguments in their dimly lit home, Curtis pacing with frustration as Portia pleads for understanding, her voice breaking under the strain of his unrelenting judgment. This constant rejection has driven a wedge between them, leaving Portia emotionally stranded. Seeking solace, she has turned to Dr. Isaiah Gannon, a colleague at General Hospital, who has witnessed her unraveling in vulnerable moments, perhaps during a tense shift in there or a quiet breakdown in the hospital break room. Isaiah, with his calm demeanor and empathetic ear, has become a beacon of support, offering kind words and a steady presence as Portia grapples with her crumbling personal life. Could this be the beginning of a lifeline for Portia, or a dangerous shift towards something more forbidden? Portia's efforts to salvage her marriage have been relentless, yet fruitless, as Curtis continues to build walls around his heart. Each attempt at reconciliation, but a heartfelt apology over a shared dinner or a desperate gesture like leaving nostalgic love notes from their early days, seems to bounce off Curtis's hardened exterior. He remains fixated on her past deceptions, unable to see the pain behind her choices. Meanwhile, external forces are pushing Portia to her emotional limits, particularly the manipulative tactics of Drew Kane, who holds dark leverage over her. Add to this the sinister blackmail from Brad Cooper, a schemer with his own agenda, and Portia finds herself cornered, unable to share her burdens with Curtis for fear of further alienating him. Imagine Portia standing alone in her office, staring at incriminating documents Drew has dangled over her, her hands trembling as she realizes the depth of her entrapment. Curtis, unaware of the full scope of her torment, simmers with resentment over her secrecy, leaving her isolated in a storm of guilt and fear. It's no wonder that Isaiah's concern for Portia deepens, especially when he sees her on the verge of collapse after yet another crushing blow, perhaps a threatening call from Brad or a cold shoulder from Curtis in the hospital corridors. As Portia's world spirals, Isaiah emerges as more than just a compassionate bystander. He becomes her emotional anchor in the chaos of General Hospital. Their shared moments, perhaps lingering conversations over coffee in the hospital cafeteria or a quiet exchange of knowing glances during a grueling surgery, draw them closer, forging an unspoken bond. Isaiah, sensing Portia's desperation, might offer not just words of comfort but active support, becoming her ally against the mounting pressures. Envision a charged scene where Isaiah overhears a heated confrontation between Portia and Curtis near the nurse's station. Curtis's voice sharp with accusation while Portia struggles to defend herself. Stepping in, Isaiah could boldly confront Curtis, urging him to ease up on his beleaguered wife. "She's carrying more than you know," Isaiah might say, his tone firm yet pleading. "She's trying to shield you from the worst of it. Give her some grace." Curtis, however, blinded by his own hurt, might scoff at Isaiah's interference, accusing him of overstepping before storming off, leaving Portia in tears. In the aftermath, Portia's gratitude toward Isaiah could manifest in a tentative embrace. her head resting on his shoulder as she whispers a shaky thank you, the warmth of his presence a stark contrast to Curtis's frostiness. The growing closeness between Portia and Isaiah doesn't go unnoticed in the tight-knit corridors of General Hospital, where gossip travels faster than a code blue. As they spend more time together, perhaps collaborating on a high-stakes patient case or sharing quiet moments of respite on the hospital roof under the starry Port Charles sky, Portia begins to see the stark reality of her failing marriage. With Curtis's continued rejection echoing in her mind, and the looming threats of losing her job and facing prison time due to Drew and Brad's machinations, she might confide in Isaiah about her deepest fears. "I'm going to lose everything, me family, my career, my freedom," she could sob, her voice raw as Isaiah offers a steady shoulder, his hand gently squeezing hers in silent reassurance. This vulnerability could mark a turning point, as the weight of her words hangs between them, charged with unspoken possibilities. Imagine Portia, in a moment of clarity amidst her despair, realizing that life is fleeting, that clinging to a broken marriage might cost her the chance to truly live. In this fragile state, a spontaneous moment of connection, a lingering gaze, a rush of hands cooled ignite into something unexpected, a kiss, tender yet electric, catching both Portia and Isaiah off guard as suppressed emotions surge to the surface. This pivotal moment between Portia and Isaiah could redefine their relationship, forcing them to confront feelings neither anticipated. As their lips part, a mix of shock and longing might linger in their eyes, the hospital's sterile backdrop fading into an intimate bubble of realization. Do they pull back, burdened by guilt over Curtis and their professional boundaries, or do they lean into this newfound chemistry, acknowledging a connection that feels more authentic than Portia's strained marriage? Picture Isaiah, a man of quiet strength, grappling with his own moral compass as he wonders if he's merely a rebound or something deeper to Portia. Meanwhile, Portia might wrestle with the implications of this kiss. Does it signify the final nail in the coffin of her marriage, or a desperate grasp for solace in a storm? The stakes are higher than ever, with Portia facing not just personal heartbreak but professional ruin. A whispered rumor of her predicament could reach the hospital board, fueled by Drew's manipulations, hinting at scandalous misconduct that threatens her medical license. In such a crucible, Isaiah's support might become her only refuge, yet it risks complicating their dynamic further if Curtis, or worse, someone like Brad, catches wind of their closeness. The ripple effects of Portia's choices promise to shake up Port Charles in ways both subtle and seismic. Will Curtis continue to push Portia away, his pride blinding him to her silent suffering until it's too late to salvage their bond? Might he overhear a snippet of gossip about Portia and Isaiah, igniting a confrontation that lays bare all their grievances in a public spectacle at Bobby's diner or during a tense family gathering? And what of Isaiah? Will he remain a steadfast friend, or will his feelings for Portia evolve into a romance that challenges hospital ethics and personal loyalties? Imagine a scenario where Trina Robinson, Portia's daughter, senses her mother's growing distance from Curtis and begins to suspect Isaiah's role, leading to a tearful mother-daughter conversation that exposes raw truths. Or consider the possibility of Drew escalating his blackmail, using Portia's emotional vulnerability as leverage to force her into even darker corners, while Brad lurks with his own schemes to exploit the chaos for personal gain. So, dear viewers, as the saga of Curtis, Portia, and Isaiah unfolds on ABC General Hospital, the questions multiply. Can Portia and Curtis find a path back to each other? Or is their marriage doomed to fracture beyond repair? Will Isaiah's presence offer Portia the strength to face her mounting crises, or will it lead them both down a forbidden road of passion and regret? And how will the predators circling Portia, Drew and Brad, capitalize on her vulnerability to tighten their grip? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you see a reconciliation for Curtis and Portia, or are you rooting for a surprising new romance with Isaiah? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for the latest spoilers, recaps, and insider updates. Until next time, keep tuning in to witness the heartbreak and hope of Port Charles on ABC General Hospital.